What's going on, guys? Bizanix here. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about Bespin DLC and is it really worth it? Is it worth $15? Now, I need to put this out there before I go any further. There's no clear answer, and certainly my opinion will not control your judgment. However, I must say that I am a season pass holder and someone who has 200 hours invested in this game, so I really believe that if there's anyone that can be trusted, it can be me. So we're going to be talking about it in the aspect of nearly everything that it has to offer, and hopefully my opinions can help you judge whether or not you want to buy this. Now, I also want to say that I will be having links in the description of nearly everything I will be talking about in this video in case you want to look at it in a more clear sense. Like when I'm talking about star cards, I nearly have a video on every star card that there is that was in the video, and I nearly have a video on nearly every game type, map, all of that. So there'll be links in the description for you guys to see that. Without further ado, let's get started. So with that being said, let's get an overview of what Bespin has to offer first. So in Bespin, you will be getting new game modes like Sabotage, an improved Fighter Squadron, and Drop Zone. New maps, a total of 4, 3 Sabotage maps, 1 Fighter Squadron map. Now I have to say one of the Sabotage maps is Cloud City, and that map is actually where you play Supremacy, Walker Assault, and Turning Point on. New heroes and villains, you'll get Lando and Dengar. New blasters, the EE4 and the X8 Nightsniper. New star cards, Ion Neutralizer, Scout Binoculars, Shot Grenade, Disruption, and a new vehicle, the Cloud Car. Now, looking through everything relatively quickly, you may not think this is very much, but at the same time you may think this is a large portion of the game. This is not for me to decide really, like I said before, and I'm just going to give you my opinion on everything here. So if you agree with me, then awesome. If you don't, then that's your opinion. Starting with new game modes, Sabotage is the one that comes to mind first. So basically, Sabotage is the newest game mode and is probably one of the most fun you can play in Star Wars Battlefront right now. Basically, the rebels have 4 heroes in the beginning and they have to destroy these generators that the Imperials are trying to defend. Now, if you can destroy these generators in I think around 7 minutes, then you move on to the next part of the actual game type where the rebels have to defend a point, and that's where they would be leaving, where the Imperials are trying to capture the point and to stop the rebels from leaving Bespin. Now the Imperials get 4 heroes at this time, so it's really important for the rebels to keep their heroes alive as much as they can, because 4 heroes against rebels is kind of slaughtering them. I'm just going to say so. It's a really tactical game type and it's a lot of fun to play. Now, I definitely, for this reason, Sabotage is one of the things that would definitely lead me to say buy Bespin. It's awesome. It's not only adds another hero-like game type, but also incorporates a lot of other players at the same time. So it's like heroes versus villains, but with 32 players, which is a lot of fun. Now, I mentioned Fighter Squadron before. Fighter Squadron was increased the player size to 32, or 16 people on each team. The score limit was increased to 400, so there's longer matches. There's more objects to interact with, and different people being the hero in every match. Also, the addition of the Cloud Car is not very, it's nice, but it's not very good. And with all that being said, I find that it's fun to play, but it's not something I can continuously do. The last game mode change was Drop Zone, and Drop Zone basically has just changed from having 16 players to 32 players, I believe, and the matches are quite long. There are multiple pods that drop at one time, so there could be 3 pods on the ground, and 2 of them will be captured by the Imperials, while 1 will be captured by the Rebels. It's really intense. It's actually really competitive, and I enjoy it a lot, although I do know that it does not come around the rotation very often because Sabotage is so demanding. But I do know that it is a very fun game mode to play, and it's like an awesome revival of the original one. So now we're moving on to new maps. So there's really not much to say here because all of the maps in this game are beautifully generated. But I have to say that with the 3 sabotage maps, one in the carbon freezing chambers, one in the Bionip laboratories, and one in Cloud City, I really have to say that they're all really balanced maps to play on. There's no one thing that sets them apart, like favoring one side or the other. I really enjoy playing on them and they're a lot of fun. The large map, Cloud City, is for Supremacy, Walker Salt, and Turning Point specifically. And these maps, I do have to say, are pretty balanced as well. And they all look really nice. And I feel like if you don't have these, then you're going to be missing out on a large portion of the game just because it adds so much effect to the game. Having 2 DLCs to choose from and the regular content from the game means you really won't be playing the same map like in one sitting. You could sit there for an hour and you wouldn't play all of the maps because there's so many you do, and you play on nearly both sides of the maps. You play on both of them, so trying to go through the entire Bespin DLC in an hour is impossible. In fact, it probably will take you 3 hours to do, so it's a lot of fun to do. And the last thing we need to talk about is that Fighter Squadron's map looks so beautiful. I am actually stunned at how nice it really looks because I do not know how they did this, but it looks amazing. So you guys are probably seeing some gameplay of it right now, but it's fabulous. Alright, so the next thing we need to talk about are the new heroes and the new villains. So the first hero that you get is Lando, and I have to say he's not very good right now. He definitely needs some buffs. There's some things we need to talk about, I guess. His disruption takes too long to activate. Even though it affects star cards and abilities for heroes, I still feel like it takes way too long to activate. It takes around 2 seconds, and in that 2 seconds you could lose a lot of health. I feel like his power-up blast should have an explosive shot effect because when you're hit by it, it already has that explosive shot effect, but you're not actually applied the damage, so I think it might be an issue with the actual scripting of the game. So he's not bad, but he's definitely not the best, and he's really good for close range, but he can't fight people in long range. So that being said, he's probably one of the weakest heroes right now. Dengar is really good in Heroes vs. Villains because of his explosive rush and hurricane thrust or something like that. Basically his melee attack and his rush attack are beastly. So I think that's what they are trying to get away with, like Dengar. He's trying to be the close quarters guy, and he does a lot of like work close quarters. So basically I feel like Dengar is mediocre in large game modes, but maybe should receive a health buff, only because the DLT 19 is the only way he can shoot people at longer ranges, and without that he wouldn't be very good at all in any of those game modes. But I think his armor meter makes him strong. Like his armor meter, it goes up as he kills more people basically. But I find that it's hard to keep this without dying, because if you rush into a building and try to kill 5 people, you're going to lose at least 20 health. And if you do that like several times, you're going to die. So maybe Dengar could use a buff, but not as much as Lando does. So those are the new heroes that you're going to be getting with this DLC. Next we have new blasters. Now there's really not too much to say about these blasters because the EE4 is the best close quarters weapon you can use in the game right now. Plus, if you pair the EE4 with focus fire, then it turns into an even better EE3. So with that being said, it's really versatile and dangerous on the battlefield. Nearly everybody in Bespin DLC uses this because it's the best weapon you can use for these maps. The X8 Nightsniper is way too weak right now, and it probably will be receiving a buff very shortly. It's pretty good with explosive shot and great for seeing through smoke. It'll probably be a lot like the DT12 when it's all said and done. Now if you don't have Outer Rim DLC, then you don't know what the DT12 is, but it's basically a 3-shot kill, and that's what the X8 Nightsniper will be, because right now it's a 4-shot kill and it's not very good. But I definitely think that's what's going to happen to it. And I did make a video, like I said in the beginning, I did make a video on the X8 Nightsniper and how to use it effectively. In case you do buy the DLC, then you should probably check it out. It's pretty awesome. Like I said, all of the links for these videos will be in the description. Finally, we're going to be talking about these star cards. Now, Disruption and Shock Grenade are our main discussion right now. Let's just talk about Disruption because a lot of people don't like it right now and they feel like it's way too OP. All it does basically is overheat your blaster and everyone's around you. Now, if you're watching any of the gameplay right now, I'm using Disruption and Shock Grenade and the EE4 a lot, so in case you're wanting to see gameplay on them, that's actually in the video, so don't worry about that. But my thing is how long it takes for the cooling flush to actually activate when you're disrupted. It takes around 2 seconds, which means not only do you have 2 seconds to wait for your cooling flush, but then you actually have to hit the cooling flush, which is at least another 1.5 seconds, and then you have to start shooting. So it's like a 4-second delay where you can actually shoot people. So a lot of people are hating on this, and I'm thinking maybe they'll change it to a 3-second delay, because honestly, if you get disrupted, you're pretty much rip. You're gonna die. You're not able to do anything. So I think it might get nerfed, but at the same time, I feel like it's balanced, because if you're behind cover and somebody does it, you don't get affected. So I'm not really sure. I guess another thing that the Disruption has that a lot of people don't like is the fact that it does encompass a long range, and you can do it when you're jetpacking over people. With that being said, I don't know. There's a lot of things that probably will change with this star card, so don't get used to it the way it is now. But it definitely would put you on the same playing field as everybody else if you did buy the Bespin DLC, just because a lot of people are using this. The Shock Grenade, I made a video on this actually like 2 days ago. But basically, it's very difficult to use, but very rewarding if you master it. And basically, it shocks everything around it within like a 5-meter radius for about 2 to 3 seconds. So you could throw it into a large control area that people are really clustered in, and you could just throw that in there, and your whole team could run in and kill them all. So if you're communicating with the team, it'd be awesome. And that's just kind of how it works. So those are the 2 main star cards. The last 2 star cards are the Ion Neutralizer and the Scout Binoculars. Basically, all I'm going to say is that these are okay, but they're not the best. The Ion Neutralizer is not very good and definitely needs a buff. I made a video on this as well. And the Scout Binoculars, they're okay, but probably there are better alternatives. Only because, yes, seeing the enemy is great, and even seeing them for at least, I think it's like highlights them for 5 to 10 seconds, but at the same time I feel like you could be doing so much more with other star cards. So unless you have a giant squad of people that are doing things, then you might not want to be using this. So with that all being said, now we can kind of make an opinion on whether or not buying the Bespin DLC is worth it. So like I said, I have maybe 50 hours or so in the Bespin DLC specifically right now, and I have to say that if you are a player that has maybe over 60 hours of game time in this game, you should probably end up buying this DLC. I feel like it's going to add so much more to your game, and it's going to increase the amount of time you're going to be playing this game probably by at least another 25 hours, because it's a lot of fun. The stuff you can do is nearly endless. The possibilities are awesome, and so if you're a player that has a lot of time spent in this game and you actually like it, you should buy it. Now on the other hand, if you're a player that has maybe less than 20 hours in this game and you're thinking about buying it, I would maybe wait and see how you feel when you reach around level 40 or level 50, only because I definitely don't know how you're going to react to some of these players, because I also have to note when DLC first drops and season pass holders get it first, all of the good players, like very good players that play this game a lot, obviously have the season pass and they play, and that means that they're all very competitive. There are still some very good players that play Bespin DLC, so you have to be really careful whenever you're getting this, because like I said, not everybody has it, and in the regular game modes there are a lot of scrubs. I'm not going to be mean, but there are a lot of scrubs. But in the Bespin DLC, there are a lot of tryhards, and so you have to be very careful and make your decision wisely. So I would say if you don't have that many hours, don't buy it yet. Wait until you get more time in the game and then maybe buy it then. It might be cheaper even. We'll see what happens. So guys, I really hope that my output on everything has kind of helped you make a decision on whether or not you should buy this. Now, if you definitely thought this video was helpful in any way, definitely leave a like because I appreciate it very much, and these videos do take me a lot of time to make, so a like would be awesome. I hope we can reach maybe 25 likes for this video. That would be awesome. Also, remember to subscribe because I will be posting a lot of videos like these in the future, and if this video definitely helped you, then videos in the future will help you, so subscribe. And really guys, without further ado, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Predators.
I forgot what sound they make, but
Alright.